This video is brought to you by CatBeast.com. Design your own custom snapbacks and hats.
What is going on, guys? JD from New York here. Thank you so much for tuning back into the channel tonight. NXT for July 19th, 2017. This is your official review and results video for NXT tonight at Full Sail University. We are 1 month away from Takeover Brooklyn number 3 Summerslam weekend, and tonight it was all about finding the #1 contender for the NXT Championship and Bobby Roode. Tonight, the main event was all about KILLIAN DAIN versus Drew McIntyre. Two undefeated beasts in NXT. Only one will survive. Only one will go on to fight Bobby Roode at TakeOver Brooklyn number 3 SummerSlam weekend. And I can't wait for it. The card is shaping up. I got news on the card tonight. I got news on who could be promoted to WWE main roster following SummerSlam. I got news, I got your review, all in today's video. NXT review and results. I want to thank everybody, first and foremost, for joining me on the Twitch live stream, man. Twitch.tv/JD from New York. I've been streaming a lot lately. Been doing some Black Ops 3. I did some Destiny 2 beta yesterday. We got the NXT live reactions each and every Wednesday. Battlegrounds coming up on Sunday. I'll be back on Twitch for Battleground live reactions. So make sure you guys are on Twitch and follow me. JD from New York, man. I'd love to hit 5,000 followers on Twitch before SummerSlam, man. We got a month to do it. I think we could do it. I think we could certainly do it, man. So thank you guys so much for joining me on Twitch. Thank you to everybody that followed. Thank you to everybody that followed me on Twitter at JD from NY206. Thank you to everybody that subscribed to the YouTube channel. Subscribe down below and hit that bell for your notifications. And thank you to everybody that donated via the live stream, man. Thank you so very much. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. If you guys want to support the show, Patreon.com/JD from NY206. Fantastic way to support the channel and the podcast. Audibletrial.com/offthescript. Audible's giving you guys 30 days free. All new listeners of the show, you're getting 30 days free to try the service out with one free audiobook of your choice. If you have iPhone and Android devices, you're good to go, bro. Audibletrial.com/offthescript. And Barbershop Window for my merchandise, man. Barbershopwindow.com/offthescript. Use the coupon code at checkout, JD17, and save yourself 20% off your entire purchase, man. Thank you so very much for all of that. Let's get into the news tonight, man. I got some NXT news that I'm sure you guys are going to be very interested in hearing. There is some news coming out of the Yellow brand this week, and I got a lot of shit for this weekend's Off the Script, man. Holy fuck. Today was a fucking plethora of news. We had Shane McMahon in fucking helicopter crashes. We got Paige and her fucking bullshit going on with Alberto Del Rio. She's going to be arrested possibly on battery charges. We got Brock Lesnar leaving the WWE and going back to the UFC. He has re-entered the pool for the USADA drug testing, which means he now has to remain suspended and fulfill his suspension. And he could possibly be back in the UFC by the latest December. All this news coming out today, man. Unbelievable fucking news day. So obviously I'll be going over all that on this weekend's Off the Script. I did upload another video today, if you guys missed it. Fire Pro Wrestling. Fire Pro Wrestling World. The Off the Script Classic. I was going to say Off the Script Invitational, which I should have named it, but Off the Script Classic just sounds a little bit better, man. The Off the Script Classic. 16 of the world's best with my commentary over it. If you guys don't know what Fire Pro Wrestling is, it's a damn good fucking wrestling game, man. So make sure you guys go and check that out. Video will be in the annotation on the screen right in front of you. So that's live on the channel right now. But what's also live is this NXT newsfeed, man. Speculation on NXT stars that will be called up after SummerSlam. This is something that has been wildly speculated over the last couple of weeks. Names such as Bobby Roode, Asuka, Peyton Royce, Billie Kay, all possibly making a jump to the main roster following their NXT stint at TakeOver Brooklyn SummerSlam weekend. Now, we are still several weeks away from SummerSlam weekend in Brooklyn. A month to go. I cannot wait. It's going to be a big weekend. The weekend will feature the third straight NXT Takeover Brooklyn event, followed by SummerSlam the very next night. With still a few weeks to go before the event, now there's speculation on who could be getting called up to the WWE main roster in the next few months. This could possibly contain spoilers, so if you guys don't want to hear the spoilers, you can very well click off the video and come back to it at a later time. But the names right now being floated around in speculation to make a jump to the main roster. Asuka is at the top of the list. This is the most obvious choice. There's nothing left for Asuka to prove in NXT. She could drop the title at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, or she could vacate it instead. Regardless, a lot of people think it will happen prior to WrestleMania 34 next year. Now, if you guys have been watching me on this channel, if you guys have been watching my NXT reviews, if you guys have been watching Off the Script, I've mentioned it pretty much everywhere. I believe Asuka should remain undefeated. I know Asuka's probably going up against Ember Moon at TakeOver Brooklyn number 3. I would not have Ember Moon beat Asuka for the NXT Women's Championship. I would not. I would have Asuka either remain undefeated and then get promoted while vacating the title. That's what I would do. That's my first order of business. I would have her remain undefeated and vacate the title. Or I would have the winner of the Mae Young Classic be the one to beat Asuka. Not Ember Moon. I would not have Ember Moon beat Asuka. I don't think Ember Moon... I think the injury to Ember Moon really took away from her momentum. It's going to be very difficult for WWE to build up a believable Ember Moon in 4 weeks to beat Asuka. I mean, if Asuka... And this is common logic. This is common logic. And if you guys watched that match a couple of weeks ago with Asuka and Nikki Cross, and the beating that Nikki Cross gave Asuka, do you honestly believe that WWE can do anything to build up Ember Moon to that point where she could honestly say, you know what, I can beat Asuka? Or do you think WWE can build up Ember Moon to a point where the fans can back Ember Moon and believe that she could beat Asuka? I mean, if Nikki Cross could not take the title from Asuka in that type of environment, in that type of brutality, do you think Ember Moon's going to do it? Fuck no. I don't think Ember Moon's going to come close. Logically, but all good things must come to an end. Asuka's reign is not going to last forever. In this case, WWE has gotten this far. I would not have Asuka lose the title. I would not. Now, being that the first set of tapings for the Mae Young Classic will not happen on the network until after SummerSlam, the week after SummerSlam. Okay? We're going to have a winner for the Mae Young Classic at the end of September. At the next TakeOver show is probably when I would have Asuka drop the title. I would have her either vacate the title and have the finals be for the NXT Championship, or I would have Asuka still hold on to the title, and then the winner of the Mae Young Classic Finals fight Asuka at TakeOver Houston Survivor Series weekend. Those are my two options. My first choice would obviously be Asuka vacating the title, beating Ember Moon, and then vacating the title and saying, you know what, there's nothing more for me to prove here. I'm going to remain undefeated. I'm going to the main roster. And then when you promote Asuka, or demote Asuka to the main roster, with the way things are going right now in WWE, it's a demotion. Why you would want to leave NXT, I don't know. When you demote Asuka to SmackDown Live, which I believe is the best brand for Asuka, I would have her go one-on-one with Charlotte at WrestleMania 34, and I would have her beat Charlotte for the SmackDown Live Women's Championship. I would have Asuka remain undefeated throughout the entire year, going into WrestleMania, beat Charlotte, and remain undefeated for the foreseeable future. That's what I would do. You don't have this type of female come along and just kind of say, you know what, we've gotten this far, let's end it. Keep running with it. Asuka has an opportunity now to be the most dominant female in the history of the WWE. We don't see title reigns. We don't see undefeated streaks. We don't see that type of win streak ever in WWE. I say the best thing for WWE to do is keep it going. And I think the biggest match that you could do, the genetic fucking superior female athlete in Charlotte, right? Yeah, WWE wants to gloat about how great Charlotte is. Fine, Charlotte, champion, Asuka, challenger, WrestleMania. You can't get any bigger than that. You're not going to give Charlotte any other opponent at WrestleMania that's even going to come close to what she can do at WrestleMania. Asuka is that opponent. That is the biggest match that you can do at WrestleMania. Enough of the fucking fatal 4-ways. Enough of the fucking fatal 5-ways. I want champion. I want challenger. I want one-on-one. I want to see who is the best. It takes a fucking no-brained idiot to write that storyline. It writes itself. The champion Charlotte versus Asuka at WrestleMania. There you go. Do I need to explain it any further to you? No. I'm going to move on to the next one. Bobby Roode. Bobby hasn't been NXT champion for too long, but the glaring statistic in Bobby Roode is that he's 40 years old. He doesn't look it, but he's 40 years old. He looks fantastic. He looks glorious. Might be time to drop the belt and make his way to the main roster. He will face Drew McIntyre at NXT Takeover Brooklyn 3, and this could easily spell the end of his title reign. Yes, I do think Bobby Roode is on his way to the main roster. The thing here is, and I got two things I want to mention to you. Number one, Drew McIntyre really hasn't done anything of substance. He's great. I love him. But he really hasn't done anything outside of beating KILLIAN DAIN tonight. Bobby Roode, yes, he is the world champion, but I would not have Drew McIntyre take the world championship off of Bobby Roode just yet. I would wait. I would have Bobby Roode sneak out a victory or cheat to win, do something, create a situation that would easily lead to another rematch, whether that rematch takes place on NXT television at a set of tapings or at TakeOver Houston Survivor Series weekend. That's what I would do. I would not have Bobby Roode drop the title just yet. The other thing I'm concerned about is the overwhelming fact that the main roster right now, for both brands, especially SmackDown being 2 hours, they have way too much talent that they're not even promoting on WWE television. With every male superstar that is promoted to SmackDown or Monday Night Raw in some sense, there are guys that are not being used, but more so SmackDown. Anybody that gets promoted to SmackDown Live, like a Bobby Roode, if a Bobby Roode makes it to SmackDown Live, Bobby Roode's automatically going to be inserted in the main event. There's no way you're not going to put Bobby Roode in a world title situation. So, with Bobby Roode's inclusion on the SmackDown roster, that means someone else is going to be featured less on WWE television. We already have Luke Harper. We already have Ty Dillinger. In some sense, Sami Zayn. We already have tag teams being broken up, right? There are guys that are not being featured. Dolph Ziggler hasn't been featured in the last 3 weeks, right? Zack Ryder, Mojo Rawley, etc., etc. With every main guy that gets promoted from NXT to SmackDown Live, someone else is gonna take the fucking the brunt of it. They're gonna have to bite the bullet and not be featured on television as much, or not at all. Because who are you gonna put on television? You're gonna put a Bobby Roode on television? Obviously you are. Or you're gonna put a Bobby Roode or a Luke Harper on television. If you're WWE creative, who are you gonna put on television out of the two? Clearly Bobby Roode. So right now SmackDown Live is, you know, I don't even know if it's a good situation that they're in, because it's a frustrating situation for the fans anyway. The show itself is not really doing much of anything lately. It's just mediocre. They used to be good. They used to be great. But now they're just You know, if you miss a SmackDown every now and then, week to week, you're not really missing anything. You could just catch it on whatever, on YouTube, or you can wait and fucking have it hit the network a couple weeks later. It's not that big of a deal. But Bobby Roode, I see him on SmackDown Live. I'd love to see Bobby Roode against Nakamura again. I'd love to see Bobby Roode versus AJ Styles. Bobby Roode versus John Cena. Bobby Roode versus Kevin Owens. You know, Bobby Roode versus Sami Zayn. Some great fucking matches over there, man. I think he fits SmackDown Live's makeup a little bit more than Monday Night Raw. I don't want Bobby Roode on Monday Night Raw. But stranger things have happened. I said the same thing about Samoa Joe, and Samoa Joe finally is being treated like the beast that he deserves to be. So, who knows, man. Bobby Roode on the main roster should become a reality in 2017. Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. Now, a lot of people enjoy their work together, and a lot of people think they could be a solid addition to the WWE main roster on either brand, both Raw or SmackDown. With all the talent coming in from the Mae Young Classic, they could get called up very, very soon, and I think this will happen. They could be a fun addition to both Raw or SmackDown Live. There were also rumors that Andrade Cien Almas was supposed to get the call-up after WrestleMania, but that never ended up happening. It looks like plans changed for him. Almas right now is in the midst of a reset button. He's got Thea Trinidad, which we're going to talk about in a second, by Andrade Cien Almas' side. And I think adding her to his act is going to really get the crowd finally behind him. That was the one thing missing from Andrade's act. It was getting the crowd behind him and having a person there who could speak for him. That's what Thea Trinidad is going to do. And having a beautiful female next to a male wrestler who is absolutely fantastic in the ring is going to make him a lot more attractive to the fans. So I think that's going to be very good for Andrade Cien Almas, and we'll talk about that with the NXT review. But those are the 4 names right now being speculated about getting a main roster call-up following SummerSlam. When it happens, I don't know, but it could happen anywhere between SummerSlam and Survivor Series in November. Just keep that in mind. We got news on TakeOver Brooklyn 3. I went over this on Off the Script. Quickly, I want to go over it again. As of tonight, the World Championship has been decided. Drew McIntyre will go one-on-one with Bobby Roode for the NXT Championship. There could be, I haven't read the spoilers for the next set of tapings, but Roderick Strong could be involved if WWE wants to get him involved. So that remains to be seen. But right now, it's a one-on-one match. Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Roode for the NXT Championship. Ember Moon versus Asuka is likely to happen for the NXT Women's Championship. Sanity versus the Authors of Pain. If you guys watched last week's edition of NXT, Sanity came out after the Authors of Pain took care of Heavy Machinery. So it looks like we're going to get that for the Tag Team Championship. Hideo Itami versus Aleister Black could be an addition to NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. Johnny Gargano could be going one-on-one with either Andrade Cien Almas or Roderick Strong. The return of Johnny Wrestling versus either one of those men. Either one of those men I take. In fact, I would actually put them in a triple threat match, to be perfectly honest with you, to get Roderick Strong in the mix with TakeOver Brooklyn, man. But I mentioned this on the Twitch stream tonight. TakeOver usually is 2 hours. They usually go 2 hours 10, 2 hours 15. You know, they never take full advantage of that 3 hours. I would love if WWE went the full 3 hours. I'd add a 6th, or I'd add a 7th match to take over Brooklyn. You know? There were rumors going around that WWE might give us the rematch for the UK Championship. I'd love to see another match between Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate in New York City. Are you fucking kidding me? I'd love to see that. I'm surprised that's not listed in the possible rumors for the match card. So if there's a 6th match, I'd love for that to be the 6th match. And then TakeOver Brooklyn could end up being one of the best shows of the year. So TakeOver Brooklyn's shaping up very nicely. There's not much buzz around TakeOver right now, but the sooner we get to TakeOver, the closer we get to TakeOver, I think the buzz is really going to start developing. I think a lot of us are going to be like, oh shit, I can't wait for this show. Because I can't wait for it. Shaping up to be a damn good show right now for TakeOver Brooklyn 3. NXT tonight, all about, like I said, Drew McIntyre versus KILLIAN Dain. The winner goes on to fight Bobby Roode for the NXT Championship at TakeOver Brooklyn number 3. Both men have been touted as being undefeated so far in their NXT careers. The show opened up the way a wrestling show should open up, with wrestling. Ember Moon versus Ruby Riott. Glad Ember Moon's back. I'm not a big fan of Ruby Riott, but this match went about 12 minutes, and it was a damn good one for the women's division of NXT. Ruby Riott hit a beautiful Hurricane Rana, and the fans were really behind Ruby Riott on this one. She just got that punk rock, fun-loving look that the fans can easily get behind. But people do appreciate Ember Moon and what she does in the middle of that ring, man. She's very athletic. But Ruby Riott had a beautiful top rope Hurricane Rana. Ember goes for a roaring elbow that fucking leveled Ruby Riott. And then a modified backbreaker. All eventually led to the eclipse off the top rope, the prettiest finisher in all of women's wrestling from Ember Moon. 1, 2, 3. Ember Moon defeated Ruby Riott in a great match to open up NXT tonight. 11 minutes and 35 seconds. Ember Moon, like I said, more than likely going on to fight Asuka at TakeOver Brooklyn number 3. They had an interview earlier in the day with Cassius Ono when Hideo Itami came in and he was asked about their match next week, which apparently Cassius Ono requested. So no violence came of this little interview. All Hideo Itami did was kick a trash can and speak in Japanese, and we don't understand what he said. But Cassius Ono says that he had to take things into his own hands. People asked him, or the interviewer, I guess, asked him, what do you think of your current run compared to your last run in NXT? And at that point, I was like, oh, no. It's my reaction every time Cassius Ono comes out. I don't know whether he's going to be dressed up as fucking a Chicago Bull, a Sacramento King, a Boston Celtic, a New York Knick, a Miami Heat. I don't fucking know, man. You know? Last time he was in NXT, he was Chris Hero. We seen things that Chris Hero did. Now, I don't know what the fuck he is. He's a 6-string fucking basketball player for NXT, pretending to be a wrestler. You know? But I joke on Cassius Ono, but his gimmick right now doing absolutely nothing for me, man. Absolutely nothing for me. So I thought this match was actually going to take place at Takeover. They're doing it, I guess, a month early. I guess they got bigger things in store for Hideo Itami. I don't see Cassius Ono coming out of this a winner. I think Hideo Itami needs this more than Cassius Ono. Cassius Ono right now, he's in like mid-card limbo on NXT. He's there, and he's kind of settled into that enhancement type talent. He's great at what he does, but he's there right now, and he's settled into that role to put other guys over. He's just like a, you know, I don't want to, you know, lump him into this category, but he is a 6-stringer. He's a good support player. That's what Cassius Ono's role is. And I joke that he's a fucking 6-string basketball player wannabe, but that's exactly what his role is on NXT. He's a support player. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, right now, it's not his time. Hideo Itami's got more upside than Cassius Ono does. Hideo Itami's got a better look than Cassius Ono does. Hideo Itami is going to benefit more from beating Cassius Ono than Cassius Ono will benefit more from beating Hideo Itami. That's just me. It will do nothing for Cassius Ono. He's not going to go anywhere. Hideo Itami can get a good win over Cassius Ono, move on to the next guy, and hopefully gain some momentum in NXT. The Street Profits are coming. I mentioned this on the stream. The Street Profits look incredibly similar to a tag team that I am familiar with in House of Glory when I do play-by-play commentary. There's a tag team in House of Glory called Private Party. And the first thing that I thought of when I seen the Street Profits was Private Party. Mark Quinn and Isaiah Cassidy of Private Party in House of Glory. Now, I don't know, you know, if you guys are watching House of Glory like I'm commentating House of Glory, that's just the first thing that I seen. So, I don't know what you guys are thinking about the Street Profits. A lot of you guys are saying that they're very reminiscent of Crime Time. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that that's just based off them being black. They're a black tag team, and we don't see many black tag teams come into the WWE and be successful. But the Street Profits, you know, I'm not going to shit on the gimmick. I'm not going to shit on what they can do. I haven't seen them yet, but they're coming, and I'm interested to see what they got. Because right now, we need tag teams. We need tag teams all across the board in WWE, not just in NXT, on Raw and on SmackDown. Any new tag teams coming in, I will welcome them with open arms. The Street Profits are coming to NXT. Oney Lorcan versus Danny Birch. Holy shit, man. Oney Lorcan is a fucking savage. This guy hit fucking Danny Birch so hard that he started bleeding. Just like Hideo Itami started bleeding when they had their match a couple of weeks ago. Oney Lorcan is a fucking savage, man. I knew this was going to be hard-hitting. But holy shit, every match that Oney Lorcan is in is fucking a bloodbath. This one wasn't too bad. It wasn't as bad as Hideo Itami, but this one got bloody. He did those hard slaps right across the face, and he busted Danny Birch open. Those European uppercuts, devastating as always. Oney Lorcan gets in a couple of shots to the face, and they start exchanging uppercuts. They went at it like two fucking bulls, man. Head to head. You got it. You want to do it? Let's do it. They started trading blow for blow. Danny turned him inside out with a clothesline and then a wicked fucking powerbomb that almost folded Oney Lorcan in half for a 2 count. Danny gets back up and he misses a dive out of the corner. Lorcan rolls him up into a half crab, a half Boston crab, and Danny Birch immediately tapped out in 5 minutes. Hard-hitting affair. After the match, they shake hands, and they actually request one more match. Danny Birch wants one more match. He's like, I want you one more time. Oney Lorcan's like, you want me one more time? And they shake hands, and the crowd's going crazy for this shit, man. I mentioned this on stream. This is something that you don't see on Monday Night Raw or SmackDown Live. The lower-end guys are getting something to do. Whether it's important to you or not, who gives a shit? These guys are getting something to do. They got this own little thing brewing between them. The crowd is loving it because of the physicality. The crowd's going to appreciate it because that's what we're there for. We want to see wrestling. We want to see two guys fucking beat the shit out of each other. We want to see one guy laying and one guy standing tall. Simple economics here for wrestling. No fucking bullshit storyline, no illegitimate children, no fucking love affairs, no bullshit. It's two fucking tough son of a bitches going at it, hitting each other as hard as they can. One guy's gonna stand, one guy's gonna fall, and the crowd was all over it. And I enjoyed it, man. It was great. And these guys got something little brewing here, even though it's not for a title or it's of nothing of great importance. These guys have something to do. At least they're in something to do, and the crowd is giving them a decent reaction for it. You gotta appreciate that, man. Oney Lorcan wins, half crab. Oney Lorcan's in that kind of phase where he's like, not a jobber, but he's one of them, you know, upper echelon enhancement talents. You know, Oney Lorcan's proving that he's a tough son of a bitch. So you put him in the ring with somebody, it's always going to be a decent win because this guy, every time he's in the ring with no matter who it is going to bring it. And he's going to fucking say, you know what? You ain't getting past me so easily, bro. I'm going to show you exactly why we're in this fucking profession of professional wrestling. You know? So Oney Lorcan is, you know, he's that upper echelon type enhancement talent, but he's not a pushover by any means. So he gets a nice win tonight over Danny Birch in 4 minutes and 38 seconds with a submission tap out. Half crab over Danny Birch of the UK scene. No Way Jose makes his return to NXT, and I mentioned this on the stream. No Way Jose is one of those guys that would benefit greatly from a mid-card television championship on NXT. He went one-on-one with Cesaro Bononi, who delivered a beautiful, picture-perfect Okada-like, well, not really Okada-like, but still a picture-perfect dropkick, and that leveled No Way Jose. Cesaro Bononi, if you guys don't know him, he beat Andrade Cien Almas a couple of weeks back, and it was an upset victory. You know, that's what pretty much prompted Almas to be like, yeah, fuck this shit. I lost to Cesaro Bononi. I lost to this fucking bum. I don't give a shit. He's got fucking 4 women arm in arm, leaving Full Sail University. Yeah, I lost to Cesaro Bononi, but I'm going to get my fucking dick sucked by 4 women tonight. I don't give a shit, you know? But Cesaro Bononi, he's got that physique. He's got that look. He's like 6'5", 250 pounds. He's got that look that Vince McMahon would jizz himself over. So that's why this guy's on television. WWE clearly sees something in him, even if it's just his physique and his look. But he's Brazilian. He's got a fucking cut physique. He looks like a fucking Greek statue, this guy. Great fucking look by Cesaro Bononi. But No Way Jose took care of him pretty easily, even though with that picture-perfect dropkick, that went nowhere. Jose gets a clothesline in. He starts doing some fucking dance moves. And then his pop-up uppercut for the win at 2 minutes and 9 seconds. A win over Cesaro Bononi. Post-match, Andrade Cien Almas comes out, and we see Thea Trinidad in all her glory. People in the chat did not realize that that was Austin Aries' wife. Yes, lucky man. Andrade Cien Almas comes in, and he starts attacking Bononi because he upset well, he was upset that he lost, apparently, but Cesaro Bononi upset Cien Almas a couple of weeks ago, and Thea Trinidad was telling him, listen, go beat the shit out of this guy and giving him orders. And he listened. He listened. But Jose comes back, chases him away. Thea Trinidad and Andrade Cien Almas escape through the crowd. This is going to be a good duo. Thea Trinidad and Andrade Cien Almas is going to be very good for NXT. It's going to be very good for Andrade Cien Almas because you got a beautiful woman by his side. The guy can absolutely fucking shred in the ring. So this is going to be a very, very good addition to his act. I think it's the one thing that's finally going to get him over. And if he's going to be going one-on-one, rumored with Johnny Gargano, holy shit, if there's one match I'm looking forward to most, it's what those two guys can do in the fucking ring, man. It's going to be a fucking war at TakeOver Brooklyn. So look forward to that. If that is the rumor, I can't wait to see if that actually does happen at TakeOver Brooklyn. But tonight, No Way Jose beat Cesar Bononi. Andrade Cien Almas comes in to attack Bononi after No Way Jose wins. No Way Jose gets to the top of the ramp. He sees the beatdown happening in the ring and chases off Andrade Cien Almas into the crowd. Finally, guys, Drew McIntyre versus KILLIAN DAIN, a main event of two undefeated talents in NXT. Dane, if there's one thing that I took away from this match, it was that KILLIAN DAIN was propelled even further up the NXT ladder, man. This guy was an absolute fucking beast. Drew McIntyre, clearly the much smaller man in this match. KILLIAN DAIN, to me, looks like a huge superstar awaiting to just break through in the WWE, man. You look at KILLIAN DAIN and you see a monster in the making. I see champion written all over this guy. He's got a great monster look. I see a great monster heel act that could play so perfectly against a fucking overcoming babyface or an underdog babyface. I think KILLIAN DAIN's got a very, very bright future in WWE. The fact is, not only do I see that, but the guy could fucking wrestle. There was a moment in this match where he did a fallaway slam, he did a senton, and then he did a Vader splash all in one fluid motion in this match, in one motion. The athleticism, the speed of KILLIAN DAIN, the quickness of KILLIAN DAIN. Very eye-opening for a man that size. I love a man his size that could fucking move like that, man. We seen a huge suplex off the top rope from KILLIAN DAIN on Drew McIntyre. And the reason why I say KILLIAN DAIN, you know, even in a loss here, gained more than Drew McIntyre did is because Drew McIntyre, we haven't seen the Future Shock DDT from Drew McIntyre. He nailed it on KILLIAN DAIN. He nailed the Future Shock DDT on KILLIAN DAIN. And KILLIAN DAIN kicked out at a 1. Drew McIntyre set up for the Claymore, his finishing move, that big running, single leg fucking drop kick that he does. He nailed KILLIAN DAIN with it. He didn't even go for a fucking cover because KILLIAN DAIN got up immediately from the impact of the Claymore. He nailed him, and then KILLIAN DAIN gets up, sits up almost on his side, and starts fucking banging his head like, no, motherfucker, you ain't getting me. And then he sits up on his knees as Drew McIntyre's setting to do another one up, and he says, come on, show me what you got. And Drew McIntyre nailed him with another Claymore, which finally leveled off KILLIAN DAIN. 1, 2, 3. Drew McIntyre wins, and KILLIAN DAIN was really propelled to the next rung of NXT's ladder, man. He really looked good in defeat here. Drew McIntyre, the facial expressions of Drew McIntyre really told the story here that KILLIAN DAIN is a fucking beast, and he's going to be a big-time player in WWE. The fact that he kicked out of the Future Shock DDT and you've seen the shocked face of Drew McIntyre told the whole story of the match, man. And then when he hit the Claymore, Drew McIntyre didn't even go for the fucking cover because he was even shocked more so. That he's like, what the fuck do I got to do to beat this guy? What do I got to do to put him away? So the second one did it, Claymore, and that sends Drew McIntyre to Brooklyn and a date with Bobby Roode at Brooklyn SummerSlam weekend for the NXT Championship. Very, very good edition of NXT tonight. Probably the best in the last couple of weeks. And now next week we have a new set of tapings to really enjoy. We got Kyle O'Reilly debuting with NXT, and we got more build to NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, man. But a very good edition of NXT tonight. And I want to thank everybody for joining me, not only for this review, but the live stream as well on Twitch. So Ember Moon beat Ruby Riott with the Eclipse. Oni Lorcan beat Danny Birch with a half crab, half Boston crab. No Way Jose defeated Cesar Bononi with his pop-up uppercut. We've seen Andrade Cien Almas come in and attack Cesar Bononi, only to be chased off by No Way Jose. And then Drew McIntyre defeated KILLIAN DAIN, not with the Future Shock DDT, but with 2 Claymores. And that sent him to NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. Thank you guys so much for pretty much joining me on this TakeOver, well, not TakeOver, but NXT review and results video. If you guys enjoyed it, hit that thumbs up. Thank you so much for joining me on the live stream. I will be back with probably an off-the-script extra video tomorrow because I got so much news that I don't know what to do with it, man. So Friday, we got a big day of off-the-script. preview and predictions for Battleground this coming Sunday, plus the podcast, as always, Saturday and Sunday. If you guys missed my Fire Pro Wrestling video, go check that out today. Show that video some support. I'd love if you guys go over there and watch it. Great shit with my commentary over some damn good fucking matches, man. We got Vader versus Samoa Joe and Terry Funk, the hardcore legend himself, versus former ECW champion Raven in the Off the Script Classic Round 1. Thank you guys so much. Follow me on Twitter at JD206 and hit that subscribe button down below for the best damn wrestling content right here on YouTube.com. And I will see you guys tomorrow with more content right here on the channel. I'm JD. Make it a great Wednesday night, and I'll see you all tomorrow with more content on the channel. Thank you so much.